Welcome to Miss Rachel's art lesson. I'm Miss Rachel at Rachel's Whimsical Arts, and today we're going to be talking about value. I have some drawings of some bugs that I did, of insects from dragonflies, beetles to butterflies, and I'll show in another video how to draw these two guys. They look really fun and detailed for painting later with watercolors. Today though, for the value scale and learning about value, I'm going to show you on just this basic butterfly shape and with a value scale piece of paper to draw. And you can use pencil, you can use charcoal, you could use pastels, whatever you have, just use one color. So value is the lightness or darkness of a color. And I'm going to show you with a pencil, and then I'm going to show you with a charcoal. So I drew lines on this piece of scrap paper just to show myself like how many sections I'm going to draw from darkest, the range of color from dark to light. So I'm going to start with my dark and go to light with the pencil. And you can do this on any kind of scrap paper or in your art journal if you have an art journal. I teach classes with students at a school here in Bellingham, and some of them will be watching. So here's my darkest value of my pencil, and I press pretty hard, okay? Then in the next square right next to it, I'm gonna try and lighten my pencil just a little bit, not a lot. And then a little bit lighter in the third box. So the reason why we want to do a value scale is to show you the lightness and darkness shades or tints. And it's a range. It's a range of colors, so you can know how hard or how light to draw to add, add enough color. And here's a lighter. See how it's getting lighter? And now the very last square, I'm barely touching the page. So there we go, from darkest to lightest in pencil. Now you can also do this with charcoal or pastels. So here's my charcoal. And there's different kinds of charcoal. You can use charcoal pencils, charcoal, loose charcoal, or pastels too. So I like charcoal because it blends really well, and you can do a lot of fun things with making things look like adding value to a drawing or a picture to make it look like it's 3D. Okay, so the darkest, and I have to be gentle with my charcoal because it could chip. Just see that little bit? It just chipped off. So here's my darkest. Then I'm going to do this a little bit lighter. And this is a little bit lighter. Now this is even lighter. And this, it's kind of fun to see how your range is too. Like how light and heavy do I draw? Do I draw heavy like this all the time or like this area? So this is good practice for you to draw and teach yourself how to draw lighter. When I'm trying to draw as light as I can, I imagine that I'm drawing with a feather. I'm drawing very, very light. Okay. Oh, look, I put my hand on there and it smeared, smeared the graphite from the pencil. That's okay. So there is my range. And now that I've tested it on another piece of paper or in your journal, your art journal, folks, if you have one, then I'm gonna take my shape, and it could be any shape. It doesn't have to be a butterfly. It could be, just make it a large shape that fills your whole page. So it could be a flower, it could be a giant star, it could be a tree, it could be a dog, as long as the big shape of a dog face or a dog body, so you have a big area to color in. Okay, so half of this butterfly, I'm going to show you what it looks like with pencil, and the other half I'm going to show you what it looks like with charcoal. So, but I'm going to start with pencil on the left side because I'm right-handed and my hand will rub onto the graphite or the charcoal. You can also put a paper towel right there to protect your skin, or the paper. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first lightly draw lines across. So I've got 1, 2, 3 lines. 1, 2, 3 lines. I'm going to lightly draw lines across my butterfly. And I'm not going to use a ruler. If you wanted to, you could use a ruler and get it exact. And then after I draw my lines, I can start to draw the value of lightness to darkness in a scale. Now, you may know this, but this is some fun tips about learning about value. Along with the lightness and darkness of a color to make a value scale, you can also think about value in tints and shades and tones. So tints are the color plus white, which makes them lighter. Shades is the color plus black, which makes them darker. And tones is the color plus gray, which can mute the intensity. All right, so I'm going to do my darkest at the top. And I'm going to fill in my butterfly wings to the best of my ability. It's like coloring, but with pencil. Okay, so there's the darkest. Then I'm going to do this a little bit lighter. I'm going to try and keep it inside the wings, just like when I color in my coloring book. Yeah, the nice thing about this exercise is it gives you something creative to do with your shape that you're putting your value scale in, but it also gives you a practice for drawing with your pencil or your charcoal or whatever you're using to get an idea of how heavy of a hand I should have or how light of a hand I should have to color. So this one needs to be a little bit darker, so I'm adding a little more dark range. And then this one is going to be lighter. So some people like to do shading with objects. And in another video, I can show you about shading because you can add value to a 2D shape and you can make it look like a 3D form, and that's when you add shading. But you still need to understand value before you can do the shading. Okay. Now, if you go, I made this too dark, you can take your eraser, and you can, that's a nice thing about using pencil, and you can adjust it. It's okay. The other way that you can do this, I'll show you another scratch piece of paper, is pretty quick. But this is the slower one because I want you to understand why this is good to learn, and it's kind of fun to practice with your materials. If you have a new pencil or a new charcoal set or pastel set, you might be really excited about making that pastel color or that charcoal look different. This is going to help you control that effect with your drawings and your paintings and whatever you're creating. Okay, so I did it. It's not the best, but it's all right. I filled it in. I can erase and clean up my lines on the outside of my wing afterwards. Okay, now for the charcoal. Okay, so charcoal is a little bit messier. So are pastels if you have pastels. They're still fun to play with though. I love blending them. And I'm going to show you some blending techniques after I color this wing in. Okay, so this is the darkest area, the tip of the wing right there, right? This is going to be a little bit lighter. And then lighter again. I'm trying to make the border match. There we go. Okay, and then this is even lighter again. I've decided not to color in the body of the butterfly so that there's separation of the wings from the body. All right, I went a little quicker at that with that wing. So here's what is fun to do to blend. Now, some people know about blending tools. You can use blending tools that are pre-made with, it's basically like paper that's been wound up very tightly in a cylinder, and then the ends are cut or shaped into points. But you don't have to use these if you don't have them. You can use these. The other option is you can take a paper towel and you can roll it up, which is nice. This is something that's really simple that you probably have paper towels on hand. Toilet paper wouldn't work. I know a lot of us are at home right now quarantining and trying to stay healthy. And so that's the other reason why I like to put together these art lesson videos, so you can do it at home. But toilet paper's too thin, so don't use toilet paper. Paper towels work, okay? They're thick enough, and you can use both ends. You know, you can tear off the end and wrap it up again and reuse it. Okay, so here's what I would do with my pencil. I will, after I draw and color in the entire wing from darkest to lightest for the value scale, I can blend from the top all the way down, okay? Now, I have to be careful around the edges as best as I can. And I don't want to color this way. I don't want to blend them this way. I want to blend them horizontally from left to right so that it looks like it's more uniform. Because that's how I drew with my pencil, is I drew that way, okay? So notice I'm going small spaces over here, all the way down. Okay. So obviously when we're coloring and drawing our light to dark values, we aren't adding white or any other color to make it lighter as a tint. The paper is the white. So I have less pigment here, less color, and more paper showing in the bottom of the wing. That's how that looks like a tint, okay? All right, so there is that blending method. Here, I'm gonna show you with the tip of this rolled up paper towel how you can use it to blend with your drawing. Let me move this stuff, okay. So now you can probably see why I like blending charcoal. It looks really nice when you blend it. You can erase the edges of your charcoal with an eraser, but it's going to leave black smudge marks on your eraser. So don't use it on the back of an eraser of a pencil, because then it'll forever be black. I would use a separate eraser, and then if you want to, you can erase with the edge of your eraser, and then to clean up your eraser, here's another tip that's nice. Then you can take the edge of your eraser and erase it onto another scratch piece of paper or a scratch paper towel, and it'll rub off that black charcoal mess. Okay, so I have finished with my butterfly value scale. And if you are a student of mine, this is one of your projects to do in your drawing journal. And there is my butterfly. You can see the charcoal and the pencil. Okay? Thank you for watching, everyone. And if you want to tune in again, I will do another drawing lesson on my YouTube channel in the next week or so that will be about 3D. And using your value scale to help you with that for a 2D object to turn into 3D. I will also have another video that will be about how to draw beetles and dragonflies. Since we did focus on butterflies last time, we're going to talk about beetles and dragonflies and how to draw them in detail to make them look very realistic. Okay, thank you everybody for coming and joining me on my channel. Please subscribe to Rachel's Whimsical Arts in my YouTube channel. You can leave comments below or feedback or questions, or if you want to learn about something, please let me know. I love to hear about what other people are doing and share and see what you're creating with your art. And you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Rachel's Whimsical Arts. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.